In this video, I'm going to talk again about vocal nodules and in particular why just resting your voice is not enough. I'm going to talk about lifestyle factors, vocal hygiene, and also some direct therapy, some exercises. And stick around to the end because I'm going to talk about an exercise and show an exercise that you can practice to help you gain some insight into your voice and how to start improving it. So I'm going to start with hygiene first, actually, because hygiene is what everybody talks about with voice, and vocal hygiene. And it sounds funny, it's like you're taking your voice for a wash. But hygiene really means voice care, how good people are at looking after their voice. So typically when you go and see an ENT doctor and they say, you've got nodules, or you've got this, or you've got that, they'll look at your vocal hygiene, perhaps ask you how much water you drink a day, how much tea and coffee, whether you drink a lot, whether you smoke, because all these things have bearings on the voice, and that's definitely true. Staying hydrated is good for everybody, and not least people who use their voice, and all of us use our voice, so all of us should stay hydrated. And what does that mean? It means having 1.5 to 2 litres of fluid a day that's not caffeinated. And also things like fizzy drinks aren't good for you. They're not good for acid reflux. So things like water, herbal teas or flavoured waters sometimes are good choices. Limiting tea and coffee is good, especially if you're experiencing dryness in the throat. It doesn't have to stay that way forever, but we always advise people not to have too much. Hygiene or voice care often usually encompasses not using your voice too much, or people often tell you not to overuse your voice, but actually that's not a realistic option for many people, because most of us are in jobs where we do need to use our voice, and some are professional voice users, or like me, do a lot of talking for a living. Part of voice care is the way the voice is used, and sometimes how much the voice is used. So if the voice is used in a way that isn't very optimal, perhaps the voicing pattern is a bit strained, then using your voice a lot in that way is going to cause problems. And that's often how nodules come around. It's not just that the person is using their voice a lot, it's that they're using it in a certain way that strains it. It's not surprising that many people are told to voice rest. It's often what the ENT may prescribe. It's often what some speech and language therapists prescribe. And sometimes it's necessary, especially after surgery or when somebody's poorly, has had acute laryngitis, for example. At those times, voice rest is very good because you're wanting to just take the burden off the vocal cords and let them heal and recover. But voice rest as a long-term solution is not the answer, because all of us need to use our voices, and some of us need to use our voices a lot for our jobs, as I've said. So what else can be done? With nodules, one of the key factors is lifestyle. It's common for people who have nodules to be quite big voice users, but actually a bit more than that, to probably be vocal, what we call overdoers. And vocally overdoing things means that the voicing pattern is quite excessive and a bit too strained, or it's a bit too loud. Very often nodules happen to people who say, oh, I've always been very loud, or my family is very loud. So it can tend to run in the family like that. Or just the person perhaps has to project over a lot of space, and over the years the technique that's developed to do that has not been very optimal for the vocal cords. So we always have to look at lifestyle and behavioural voice use when we're working with nodules clients. It can be the case that voice rest can be helpful in the short term. So if the voice is very hoarse, and people often say, oh, when I rest my voice for a couple of days, it's better. But the ultimate way to get over nodules is by direct therapy. Because if we don't address the issues that cause the nodules, or the type of voice use that cause the nodules, the likelihood is they're going to come back. And that's why surgery is never carried out as a first course of action anymore with nodules. It's still carried out occasionally, and sometimes perhaps with people who just cannot get rid of them any other way. But most surgeons are very reluctant to do surgery for nodules because the evidence shows that they return, and what stops them returning is lifestyle changes and behavioural changes. And behavioural changes usually means the way the voice is used, as well as curbing things like shouting in a way that's very straining on the voice. So direct therapy is just like people would do physiotherapy for an injury. We also do exercises and try certain techniques out that help the voice work better, to help the vocal cords come and meet together in a way that isn't constantly banging them together. So by bringing the vocal cords together with force over and over again, you will eventually cause some swelling on the vocal cords, which will manifest as nodules. There are many ways that voice specialists work with nodules, and not every exercise works for every person. So we normally have quite a few different techniques that we try. But one thing that's often very helpful, and it's a good thing to try, is thinking about the resonance of your voice. So I'm going to show you an exercise that you can try, and at the very least it's going to help you get in touch with your voice and how it works in certain parts of the body. First of all, I want you to take 2 fingers of one hand and just place them lightly on the side of your nose like this, and make a sound like you agree with me about something. And feel if that sound feels like it's easy or if it's hard, like straining, and where you think that sound is coming from. For example, is it from there, or does it feel more it comes from the lips? And have a go a few times and try to get the sound to come more from the lips. Push off lightly from the lips. Try again. And with nodules, the sound quality is often raspy. So when it's rough, you'll feel that some kind of roughness or some huskiness. And if you can with this exercise, see if when you do that it comes out without the raspiness, without the huskiness. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, and sometimes it depends on how big the nodules are, but it can give you an idea. And one thing that can be helpful is just lifting the pitch a little bit. If you think the M is coming out fairly smooth, let's try adding a vowel there. Ma, me, my. And by feeling the resonance, you can actually feel where you can almost place your voice at the start. And the M is helpful because you have to put your lips together and bring the sound forward. Let's extend it to a few words. Meet, make, mine. And again, does that help the voice sounds smoother by thinking of the onset and the vibration starting here? Let's try 3 longer words as well. Meeting, making, mighty. I'm going to try something similar now, which will build on from the last exercise we did, if that has been quite helpful in reducing the croakiness and the huskiness or the feeling of strain. But it's also quite helpful if that hasn't worked, because it's slightly different and sometimes it can be easier for some people to do this. So thinking about the tip of your tongue, make an N sound as for no, and just hold on to the N a little bit longer. And if you feel either side of your nose again, one of the sides at least will vibrate. Sometimes one will be stronger than the other, so don't worry about that. Keep it on the side where you can feel some vibration. And then just come off the tip of the tongue. No. Next. Now. Can you hear whether the rest of the word sounds less croaky or less husky or a bit easier? We'll try a few longer words. Let's try 90, 91, 92, 93. So if you're finding 90 to 93 quite helpful and it's coming out quite smooth, carry on all the way to 99, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. So by using an M sound or an N sound, we're actually really practicing something called forward focus resonance or forward resonance, where the sound comes forward into the face. Of course, the vocal cords are vibrating, but the placement of the sound is here. Straight away, by the lips coming together, the sound has to come through the nose, so we know that the sound is going to lift forward, and that often stops voices being very held back into the throat, just that action alone. So it's always worth trying. It might not work for everybody, and of course people will sometimes need a bit more guidance or a little bit more of individual training, but it's a good thing to try to see whether it evokes a little bit of smoothness in your voice or a little bit of ease. For many people, trying forward focus resonance is a good place to start. It can give you some awareness of your voice at the very least, but may also help you just develop a slightly different placement. So by using some forward focus resonance or placing the voice a bit more forward, it often takes some burden off the vocal folds. They don't have to work quite so hard if you're also using the rest of your vocal tract to help that sound come out, rather than just having the voice kind of staying there backwards. And that can often be just a habit after time, but of course that habit builds when the voice has also got some swelling on it. It feels like almost it's easier to hold the voice there, but actually it works against the nodules going. It's helpful actually if the sound is brought forward, and practicing a short amount for most days is helpful because it will allow you to see whether the voice gets smoother over time or whether it just doesn't ever sound any better. So that would indicate that exercise is not right for you at this point. For some people you might say, well, actually it was a bit croaky but it got better over time. So it's always worth trying things for a few days, perhaps for about a week, and doing just the ma, me, my and the 3 words, many, meet, more, those kind of things, and at least 90 to 99. Even if you just did that list most days, it will give you some insight as to whether the voice sounds like it's getting smoother, so there's potential for doing more of that type of work, or whether that particular exercise wasn't really helping, but it's worth a go. If you found this video helpful, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel.